So product based company means it is going to be developed. The product is going to be developed by one company and it is going to be sold to multiple customers. Okay, that's what the product is going to be. And the project based companies are nothing but, see, for example, you take a lot of companies are available like CTS, Infosys, and like there are like Infotech, something like the companies which they are going to get the get the requirements from a single customer, and they are going to develop that application for that, only for that particular customer. Here the customer based requirements will be there, and based on that corresponding customer based requirements, this companies are going to develop the project or an application for only for that particular customers. Okay, here if you take an example, right, the example of project means it's nothing but Amazon is one of the project, and like that we are just going to have some set of projects. Okay, so now this is clear, right? So in IT industry we have two types of companies are there: product based companies and project based companies. So when we are entering into the company, we should be very much clear that, so what type of company we are just going to work for. So are we are going for the product based company or project based company? So that is the differences here. So next one is like, who are all the people that has been involved in the IT industry? Already I told you. First, in the IT company side, the people called finance department will be there, finance people. HR department will be there, HR people. Management people like some managers or business analysts, some set of another product owners. So we are just going to call them as a product owners, POs or something. Okay, and also we are just going to have the team called development team and development team people and testing team. So this is the place where we are just going to play. This is the team where we are going to be put up and we are going to do our complete process. So this is the complete overview. These are all the people. Finance peoples are going to decide what is the budget it has been allotted for this project, and what is the quotation that has they have just quoted, and how much they are going to get the returns. So after doing this project, such kind of informations and all, it's going to be taken care by this finance department. HR department is going to take how many people is that is required for developing one project or product. So is there any lack of projects, or we want to bring up the resources? So resources, these people are going to check the resources availability, resources availability means, so how many people is really required to develop this project or product. For example, we want around 20 people's requirements. If the 20 people are not available with them, they want to recruit new persons and they want to allot to this particular project. In the similar way, management people are nothing but, there will be some set of managers, business analysts, and even like some set of other management people like a CEO, some set of other peoples and all. They are just going to have, they may involve in this particular management side. So these people like here, right? The management people are just going to like our manager, business analyst, PO and all is there, right? These people are going to involve in the requirement study. See, first of all, if we want to do any project for the customer, right? Customer is going to provide requirements to us. They are going to see what exactly they are, what type of application they are expecting. What are the things that they are manually doing? So what are the things that they want to convert it into an automation? Okay, so that type of information. So what exactly, how the system should work. So that information, that is called a requirements. We are just going to call them as a requirements. That requirements are going to be provided by the customers. So after getting the requirements from the customers, this management people are going to do a study on that requirement, and they are going to do some analysis. After that, they are going to come up with some set of feedbacks if there is anything, or otherwise that requirements will be just allotted to the both the teams, like development team and as well as testing team. See, here managers are nothing but we'll be having some set of managers will be there. So test managers will be there, and the development managers also. Development managers also will be there. So these requirements, what is the requirements that they have got from the customer? That requirements is going to be given to this both the teams, development team and testing team. These people also, they are just going to understand the requirements, and they are going to do some analysis and validate the requirements from the technical point of view. That means, see, these people are just going to validate, this management people are going to validate either we can do this kind of things by our company or not. But what these people, development people and testing people are going to do means, they are just going to understand the same requirements, and they are going to, after analyzing, they are going to come up with some set of things. That is, they are going to do an analysis from the technical point of view. That means either really this, what is the software they want to develop. See, if they want to develop any applications, right? What is the software they want to use? So what are the things that these people needs to have means? So what is the software we want to use for developing this application? And technically, there is any challenges are there? Challenges or our challenges are there or not? Like this, we are just going to think from the technical perspective. The testing people are going to think about the requirements, functionalities of the requirements. Sorry. Means, see, once after developing these particular requirements, which is given by the customer, so we are just going to make sure that all the functionalities are working fine, and we are just going to think, can we provide the quality output, quality product or not? So that we are just going to validate. In addition to that, so the complete verifications we are just going to do. So this is the overall view. So what type of companies and what type of IT, like who are all the people that are involved in the IT industry side, IT company side, and these people which department is going to take care of which type of things. So we have seen about these things and all, right? So it's clear for you people. So till now it is, you are able to understand. Do you have any questions over here?
No, good.
Okay. So now I'll just enter into the real process. 1 second. Okay. First, I'm just going to tell you, like, see, what is a software, first of all? So software is nothing but it's a set of programs that is going to perform some set of tasks. See, what is this task is about? We are just going to talk about this task task is nothing but what I say. Already I told you right here. The customers are going to provide the requirement. Customer is like customers are going to provide. Customers will provide requirements. So customer is providing the requirements means, so from our side, either product owner or managers or business analyst, these people are going to first initially analyze the requirements, and we are just going to make sure analyze the requirement, and they are going to make sure that these requirements can be developed. But here, who is going to develop this? So these requirements we want to convert into a particular software, right? So that means we want to develop some set of code. So that code is going to be developed by the development team. So that's what here program. Who is going to write this program means the development team is going to write the program. So program is nothing but it is going to be a set of like a program is nothing but it is like it's nothing but a software. That's what we are just going to develop the software. Actually here I want to call them. So developers are going to develop the software using some languages, using some specific languages. We are just going to call them as a languages. Languages means it's nothing but do you heard about the languages Java, Python, ASP.NET, .NET with C#. So these are all we are just going to call them as a like these are all the languages. Using this, they are just going to develop this software here. So development team is going to develop the software. We are just going to call them as a develop the software using some set of languages. Either they can use Java language or Python language or ASP.NET or C#. So any one of the language they are just going to use and they are going to develop this software. So here software is nothing but, so what is the task? What is the requirement? That requirements will be available in a document, right? So we want to convert that requirements. The developers are going to convert these requirements into some set of softwares like an application. They are going to develop the applications. So now Amazon website is there. So for example, you take this Amazon website. So it is an e-commerce website, right? So this Amazon website has been developed by the Amazon people. Okay, you got it right. So development team is going to develop the software using some set of languages. So these languages and all is there, right? We are just going to call them as a front-end languages. Front-end. Front-end languages. And in addition to this, see here, using this language, what they can do. So they can develop this web pages, and in this web pages, by clicking on each and every action, so either if you are going to click here or type something in the text box, so these kind of informations and all that is going to be so handled by using this front-end languages. After that, if you want to store, see, if I'm going to type Amazon here and click on the search button, right, it is going to bring up some set of website names and all. So from where I'm getting this data and all, So these data and all already that has been stored in some location called a database. So that database is called, we are just going to call them as a backend languages. So for front-end languages, if they want to develop a software, we want some set of front-end languages and some set of backend languages. Backend languages are nothing but they can use a language called, that is a backend language. These are all the languages which they are going to use here, like SQL, Oracle, that is called PLSQL, and MySQL. So these are all the backend languages. These are all the backend languages. So using this front-end languages and backend languages, this development team is going to develop the task or the requirements. Here we are just going to call them either a task or requirements. So these requirements we are going to develop as a software. So we are just going to convert that requirement into a software, and we are going to develop. Who is going to develop? Development team. So development team is going to develop the front end and back end. Front end is nothing but, so it's a screens which we are viewing. So for example, if you just go to the Amazon.in or something, right? See here, it is launching one set of pages, right? This is the front end pages. We are just going to, when it, in the IT industry side, we are just going to call them as these pages as a front end pages. The data and all which has been available, the data means here, see, even the menus and all is there, right? Best seller, mobile, today's deal, customer service, fashion, and also it is going to store my informations also. What is the orders that I have done? So these kind of informations and all, it is going to be stored in some set of languages here. Sorry, it is going to be stored in the databases. You are getting my point? You are getting it, or is there any?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this friend, visually, if we are going to see some set of information, this is called, we are just going to call them as a UI, user interface. This one we are just going to call them as user interface, UI. This UI is going to be developed by using some set of front-end languages, and data which is available here in this screen are going to be stored safely by using this backend languages called either SQL, Oracle, PLSQL, MySQL, and so that's what the developers are going to do. Developers are going to develop. Now, see, as a test engineer, what is our role here? These people has already analyzed the requirement. These people has developed. So then, what is the purpose of test engineers? Why we want to go for a Q? There is in each and every company we have a QA team is there. What this QA team is going to do? See, this development team is going to develop the application, but once after developing this definitely we are not going to, they are not going to assure that this product, like they have like 100% bug-free product. They are not going to release a bug-free product, bug-free application, okay, bug-free project. So definitely there will be some set of drawbacks, mistakes, issues, bugs will be available in this particular software. So we as a QA team, we should involve here to take care of this particular software which has been developed by this development team. We want to make sure that this software has really, we are going to check the quality of the software. Check the quality of the software. So we as a QA team is going to, we are just going to check, or you can just call it as verify or validate. So you are just going to verify the software, or you are just going to validate the software, and in this software, what you are just going to validate means you are just going to check the quality. So quality of the software, in addition to that, means in the quality itself, it is going to, like, what are the things quality means? So what exactly the customer has requested, has provided the requirement, that requirement is exactly matched by the software, developed software or not. We are just going to validate the functionalities. We are just going to check the functionalities of the system. We want to verify the functionalities. Verify or check the functionalities of the system. That means we are the persons who is going to validate the software which has been developed by this development team. So once if we are going to validate all the functionalities, all the requirements which has been given by the customer has been developed properly or not, and all the functionalities is working properly or not, all the UI layer, like UI layer means the look and feel is properly designed or not, and even we are just going to UI validation. Validation also it is going to be done by the testing team. In addition to that, we are just going to do the performance testing also. Plus this one is plus UI validation and performance of the system is also should be validated by the testing team. So now you understood, like here it's clear, right? So as a testing, as a QA member, as a QA team or QA member, you are responsible for delivering a quality products to the customers. So if you want to check the qualities means you want to check all the functionalities are working fine, all the UI layers are properly built or not, and also the performance of the system is working properly or not. These kind of validations and all testings and all you are just going to perform. After doing all these validations, checks and verifications, then if you feel that the software has been developed properly, and then it can be released, you will be releasing to the customers. So you are the person who is going to release. You are the person who is going to sign off, provide the sign off. Sign off means, what is meant by a sign off here? Means you are just going to sign that this application or software has been developed properly and it is a bug-free application. So you are just going to say that the application which has been developed, the software is bug-free software. So your software is a bug-free software. So you want to make sure, like if you are just going to make sure that this software is, there is no bugs in this software, it can be released to the customers. So that's what you want to make sure. Once if you are just going to provide this Once if you are just going to provide this approval, then it will be released. Finally, it software will be released. Released to the customers. You're getting it right? So are you getting it?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So this is the overall view. So what is a software? You understood, right? It's nothing but a set of program that which is going to perform the task or the requirements which has been provided by the customers. So these requirements or tasks, we are just going to convert it into a set of programs. So these are all the people's, like what is the role of our test engineers is already I have defined it. Okay, that's fine, right? Now see here, there are two types of softwares as already I told you, project and product. So companies also like see, we are just going to call them product based companies as service based companies. Okay, sorry, it's a project based companies. We are just going to call them as a service based companies. So which are all the companies that comes under service based companies means like TCS, Infosys, Accenture, Wipro, all these companies, they are going to develop a single software for a single customer. Okay, so that companies we are just going to call them as a service based companies. Product based companies means like it's like which are all the product based companies? Google, Microsoft, and Ramco, SAP. So such kind of they are going to develop their product based on the market requirements, and all the people are going to, all the customers are going to utilize these products. So do you agree that Google is developed by one of the company, but we are everyone are using this Google product, correct? In the similar way, SAP has been developed by one of the SAP company. More like a lot of customers are using this SAP. Okay, that's what like. Now I'm just going to come to the real stuff. What is meant by a testing here? See, before just we go into the testing, right? I just want to explain the real life cycle. What is the life cycle that software industry is following? Okay, so one second, I'm just going to open this. See, actually, in the software, before just we enter into any company, right? We want to understand what the software industry, like what is the process that is following in the software industry. So where really our test engineers are going to come into the picture. So all these things we want to understand here. One second. Okay. See here, actually, before we just go into the testing side, right? We just want to understand what really, how the development is happening in the software industry. That means, like, what is the life cycle of the software development? We want, that is called SDLC. We want to understand the process called SDLC. SDLC is nothing but software development life cycle. The complete software, if you want to develop any software, so how the things are happening. So in this SDLC, we have a lot of, so there are so many types of models are available. Each and every company, they are just going to follow some set of models. So there are, what are the types of models that are available that I'm just going to tell you. So in the meanwhile, so initially, right, when the software has been developed, at the time, they have followed the process called linear sequential lifecycle model. Initially, it's not now. Like when the software has been developed, like in the starting stages, they have followed this process, this life cycle model. What is this life cycle model? Name is linear sequential life cycle model. So here it is very similar to understand and use. Like it is going to be little bit linear sequential life cycle model is nothing but it's a one type of waterfall model. See here, this is the one of the model called waterfall model. So what are the types of models that are available here in our in so many companies are following some set of models I told you, right? So each and every company may follow different models. First of all, what are the types of models means? There is a model name called waterfall model, RAD model, spiral model, V model, incremental model, agile model, iterative model, and Big Bang model. See, these are all the software development lifecycle models that are available. Now, based on your project requirements, based on your customer, how the customer is providing the requirements, so how the development team is going to in progress, how the testing team is going to work, all this based on all the factors, they are going to decide uh, the model. From this, like we have some set of models, is there, right? So in this model, definitely we want to choose one of the model from these models. So if you are there in a certain in a particular company and you are just working on one of the project, means you want to say that we are following waterfall model, or we are following sprint models, or we are following agile models, like that. Because so each and every project which is going to be developed, they want to follow some set of life cycle, software development life cycle model. So if they like which model they want to choose, that is going to be it is going to get vary based on their project requirements, project customer, or the team, which the team exactly what is the team they have and how the team is going to function. So based on that, we are just going to pick up any one of this software development lifecycle model. Initially, when the softwares we just got in, right? So they have started using only this waterfall model. In the later point of view, we have got this many models. But even nowadays, right, some set of companies are who they are just following this waterfall model. So what type of companies and projects they can follow this waterfall model means, at least the customer requirements should be very much clear. At least some 60 to 70% of the customer requirements should be very much clear, and that has been documented properly and which has been given to the customers, and the customers are going to develop the complete requirements, and it is going to be provided to the IT companies. IT companies are going to develop the software based on the requirements which has been provided by the customer, and they are going to release the complete application in one stress. After completing the entire applications, if we are just going to release it to the customers, means, so that kind of, in that kind of scenarios, we are just going for this waterfall model. In this waterfall model, first of all, requirements should be very much clear from the customers. Then only we can go for waterfall model. You're getting this point. See here in this waterfall model, right? Each phase must be completed before next phase can begin, and there is no overlapping in the process. So I'll just go to the waterfall model. See, our waterfall model is going to look like this. See, first of all, what is the first phase of this waterfall model means? It is going to be the requirement analysis phase. That means the customer is going to provide the requirements to this IT industry, and we are just going to study the requirements in this phase, and we are just going to analyze the requirements, and then we are just going to do some validation, some verifications. Either this requirements is properly provided or not. Is this requirement is having some gaps or anything? And we are just like like here the complete team is going to get involved in this requirement phase. That means here what are the peoples they are going to involve here? So the managers are going to get involved. That means test managers, QA managers, and as well as development managers, and the product owners, and as well as the business analysts. These peoples and all, they are just going to involve in this particular requirement phase. They are going to study the requirements properly, and they're going to understand the requirements. So if they find that there is some gaps in this requirements, they are just going to like contact the corresponding customer, and they will get some clarifications on that particular requirements. If really they want any changes to be done in the provided requirements, then they also want to do the changes in that requirement document. So they are going to update this requirement document. So you understood here? Here the customer is going to provide all his requirements. So, and then 1 second, just a minute. So here in this requirement, sorry, actually we just got a call. So in this requirement analysis phase, the customer is going to provide the requirement. We as a we are just going to do an analysis on this requirement, and we are going to make sure that all the requirements which is provided by the customer is very much fine. We can develop we can take these requirements and we can develop this software. That's what we are just going to make sure that here. So once that has been done on these requirements, in this requirement analysis phase, right, lot of people are going to involve. Finance department, and like finance department means they are not going to do a requirement analysis. So after analyzing, we are just going to make sure that this much of cost is going to be applicable for developing these particular things. Such kind of things and all, maybe in some scenarios they are going to done that kind of things out of this box. When it comes to the model, software development lifecycle model, here we are going to purely study the requirements which is provided by the customer, and we are just going to make sure that this can be developed properly or not. That's what we are just going to make sure here. Once this requirement is, we got all the requirements from the customer properly, and we did an analysis properly, and everything got fine means, then we are just going to the next stage, next phase. This is the first phase, requirement analysis phase. In the second phase, what we are just going to do here means, so based on this particular requirements, we are just going to design our system. So here the architectures are going to get involved. The software development architectures will be there, right? They are going to design the front end related uh, coding parts, back end related coding parts and all. They are going to design only. They are not going to develop. They are just going to design how the system is going to be like that. So once this design is done, then we are just going for the real implementation. Implementation is nothing but here we are just going to develop the software. Once this software has been developed, then we are just going to the next phase called testing phase. So here we are the people who is going to involve for validating this developed software. So once after we are going to make sure that the software is going to work fine and it does not have any bugs or any issues with this software which has been developed by the developers, that is going to the next level. We are just going to send it to the next level. We are going to provide the approval. That means in the next phase, it is going to be deployed in the customer environment. That is going to the live environment. Once this has been deployed, deployment is nothing but you are just what is the software that has been developed um, by this development team and what is the software that has been tested by us, that we are just going to put it in the customer environment or customer servers. We are just going to deploy. That's what we are just going to call them as a deployment, or it's going to be the hosting in the customer's environment. This we are just going to say that this is the hosting in the customer environment or live environment, or its deployment in the live environment or customer environment. So you are able to understand this. Once this has been released to the customers will start use our software or application. And then if the customer is going to come up with any of the changes or bugs or anything, then we are just going to maintain that. Maintenance means in the maintenance part, what is the thing? See, for example, if you are just going to buy any products like if you are just going to buy a TV or you are just going to buy any washing machine or otherwise a fridge or something, right? So they are just going to provide some set of warranty with that 1 year maintenance warranties. So like that, we are also after developing this software, when it has been released to the customer, we are just going to do some maintenance. Means if there is any issues occurred in the software, we are just going to fix that issues. If the customer needed any changes in that, we are just going to take it that changes and we are just going to make sure that the system is working properly. So this is the complete waterfall model. Why they have named it as a waterfall model means, so see, after completing each and every phase only, we'll go to the next phase. Without completing requirement analysis phase, we will not go to the next phase called system design phase. Without getting proper requirements, we will not go to the design phase. Without properly designing the system, we will not go to the implementation development phase. Without proper developmentation is complete developmentation is not done, means we will not go to the testing phase. It will not release to the testers, QA team. Then without this tester sign off, it will not deployed in the customer environment. So without the customer deployment, there will not be any maintenance will be there. So everything is going to be very much processed based, and it's going to be after completion of each and every phase, only the next phase are going to get started. Is it clear? So that's what this, like, it looks like a waterfall. After filling all this, like, see, you just think that this is a tub. After the tub has been filled and it has been went to the top, then only it will flow to the next tub. And once see, just you pour the water into this. So once the water has been filled up to this particular level, top level, then only it will go to the next tub. the water will go to the next tub. Once if you are just going to fill the water here, then it after filling, then only it will go to the next tub. Like this, you are just going to, after filling, after completing each and every phase, then only we are just going to the next phases. So it looks like water falls from one tub to another tub based on this. So that is the reason they have named it as a waterfall model. So each and every company, they are going to follow one set of models. So some companies, some projects are going to follow this waterfall model. Some companies are going to follow some set of other models also. RAD model, spiral, V model. So we are just going to see about these models and all. Okay.